If somebody used to look at my calendar without knowing who I am, they'd be like, what is going on with this person? Because I have all of these trial dates on here on my calendar as if like I was going to them, but it's just making notes. So I know when things are going to be coming up and when to be looking for the coverage information and all that. And I had Brian Walshe hearing on here for the 23rd, which is yesterday as of this airing. But turns out the Brian Walshe hearing has been punted down the road a little bit amid some new DNA evidence into November. Brian Walshe, of course, the man who is accused of murdering his wife, Ana Walshe, on New Year's. And there's some new information that they are digging up as he awaits his day in court. The decision came after attorneys on both sides anticipated pivotal DNA results from several items, including... This is just like never a good list of things if it's in front of you and it's involving your wife and she's dead and they're looking for DNA. A hacksaw that was recently dispatched to an independent lab for DNA analysis. The awaited results are predicted to emerge in about 2 weeks, as disclosed in the latest court filing in Norfolk, Massachusetts Superior Court. Ana Walshe's haunting disappearance on New Year's Day, it has left a community on edge, especially since her body remains have been undiscovered. So she's out there somewhere, and I am not trying to be crude in any way, shape, or form, but with what we understand about what Brian Walshe did, she's likely in pieces.
Dear.
And I don't know that we're ever truly going to find a fully intact Ana Walshe, especially if she was dumped at the dump, literally. In a bid to find some closure, a significant tip from the community directed a heavy law enforcement response conspiring the Massachusetts State Police and a dense woodland area in Peabody, Massachusetts. The location holds significance as it is in close proximity to the transfer station where other integral evidence building the murder case against Brian, notably the hacksaw and the blood-streaked rug, was unearthed. In a public statement from Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, David Traub, spokesman for the DA's office, disclosed the two persons in the Peabody community unconnected to the prosecution of Brian Walshe contacted police investigators with their belief that an area of that community may be of investigative interest in that matter. Yet, the search has unfortunately come up empty with no substantial leads uncovered. The backdrop to this murder allegation, which Brian Walshe has categorically denied, intersects with his federal art fraud case, resulting in some procedural delays. Having been convicted of selling counterfeit Andy Warhol paintings on eBay, Brian was serving house arrest at their Cohasset residence during Ana's disappearance. As per court documents, Brian believed that Ana, a high-ranking real estate executive in Washington, D.C., was having an extramarital affair. This allegation, combined with Brian's deliberate delays in his art fraud sentencing, is purported to have heightened tensions in their marriage. Further allegations that now plague Brian as well. He's also being tried for allegedly manipulating his father's will, and most gruesomely for purportedly battering his wife to death on New Year's Day. Court documents state that Brian had been suspicious of Ana and had been monitoring the Instagram account of one of her male acquaintances from Washington, D.C. These suspicions led Brian to enlist a private investigator to shadow Ana in D.C., followed by multiple divorce-related Google searches. The content of these searches, some were chillingly morbid, and we've gone over them before, have raised several eyebrows and is under very close scrutiny by legal experts. Despite the plethora of charges, Brian Walshe stands firm in his plea of not guilty on all counts. His attorney, Tracy Minor, remains tight-lipped, asserting that she plans to contest the allegations rigorously in court rather than in the court of public opinion. In an earlier statement this April, she emphasized it is not evidence. It will be up to the prosecution to prove those allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. The lack of physical body is certainly going to be a barrier for prosecutors. High-profile Massachusetts criminal defense attorney Isis Eitan has openly questioned the robustness of the evidence in what is in this case. Nate Amidala, another prominent Massachusetts criminal defense attorney not associated with the case, echoed the sentiment as well. Speaking to Fox News Digital, he asserted, "This is a pure circumstantial case. There's no direct evidence because nobody saw her being killed. And there's no physical body. And there's really no physical evidence other than some blood and some..." Where the fuck planet are these people on? I know they're attorneys But at the same point, what planet are you living on? And if you're not the attorney for this person, why are you saying these things out loud? Because it makes you look like an idiot.
My question is, okay, there's really no physical evidence other than some blood. Okay, wait a minute. You and I are sitting here, we're doing this podcast. Is your blood anywhere that it shouldn't be?
No.
Mine isn't. So if your blood has been spilled somewhere, how did it get there?
There was blood in the basement. Did it get there
because somebody took a hacksaw to you? That's a problem.
There was blood in the basement of the house. There was, I believe it was a hammer in the basement of the house, if I remember correctly, that had blood on it. There's no physical evidence. A problem. I mean, did they just find some attorney that has no clue what the hell case this is and then get a comment? That's what it looks like. If I were this attorney, I'd be like, can I go take that back because I have more context on this case? I get it if you're the defense attorney for like Brian Kohberger or the defense attorney for this guy, for Walsh. You'd be saying that sort of shit. But just like, hey, can you comment on this case? You have nothing to do with it? Yeah, let me say some purely insane things. Is it circumstantial? To a certain extent, but it doesn't mean anything anymore if you don't have a freaking body. I mean, the man and his Google searches were damning enough.
Well, the Google searches, the person is missing, and a DNA match. So, yeah, you've got a problem, and you should not be finding any organic material on a hacksaw unless, if you can prove maybe it was for a deer. But if it's coming out to be human DNA on a hacksaw, that's a problem because in our society, we should not be sawing up people we know.
We should not be sawing up people. Just strangers, Stacey. Only strangers.
Am I wrong, though?
Strangers and bad people. Yes. No, you're not wrong.
I mean, any of my tools that I have out in the garage, if there's any organic material on them, it's not from somebody who's missing.
No. It's from somebody who is not missing because nobody knew who they were and nobody has claimed their body. But I mean, with this, plus, how about the Home Depot video? How about that nice New Year's Day shopping trip to basically get material to hide a body with? I mean, it's just like the most ridiculous things on that shopping list. His search engine history is that's going to screw him more than anything. And I'm sure he's not the most crafty criminal here. His DNA is going to be all over this shit. I can almost guarantee it. So was it a crime of passion? Was it planned? I doubt it was planned. Just seeing the harsh and quick manner in which all this seemed to be an attempted cover-up, which was done extremely poorly.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're caught at Home Depot buying a whole bunch of stuff to help hide a body, 20, 30 years ago, they might have a witness that, the cashier said, yeah, he bought a whole bunch of this stuff. Well, now we have video surveillance. Now we have ways of looking at these things and DNA. You're going to get caught committing a crime. And I don't think the physical body needs to be present to charge somebody with a crime these days.
It doesn't. I just hope that for the sake of the family of these kids that no longer have their mom and their dad, that they find the body, at least some semblance of it to bury. And I know it's not going to bring mom back, but maybe it can bring them a little bit of peace as they will struggle with this for the rest of their lives.
You're locked into the Hidden Killers podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.